Hell yeah. To be honest, bro, my friend paid for my ticket, and that was the stipulation. I had to wear that shit yesterday.
Really?
So I look like a tool.
Was the stipulation also that you bring the JBL sign, or was that your idea?
Nah, to be honest, we were messing around, and he thought of that sign idea. The United tried to take my seat.
So wait a minute, those were all your buddies, because there was a lot of different guys around with signs that were kind of goofy, and so you guys were all in that together?
Well, yeah. I was the artist. I'm kind of autistic. No, but I made a couple of stupid signs, yeah.
Okay, so you came up with the United try to take my sign, and how about the Patriots one that you showed to AJ Styles, or somebody, the Patriots guy showed to AJ Styles?
Yeah, my friend showed AJ Styles, and then AJ was like, yeah, you know I'm a Falcons fan or whatever. He was just talking trash.
Right.
So how did it all start? Like, you got the sign, you're holding the sign up in the air. Like, what was going on at that point? Did they immediately come over to you and they just escorted you away? Did you mouth anything off of JBL, being that you were so close?
Well, what happened was, like the whole show, I was sitting ringside, and I was on the side with the cameras like to my back. So right when I got there, they took my sign, and they were like, yeah, you can't have signs over here, blah, blah. They didn't look at it or anything, but I was like halfway through the main event. I was like, whatever, let me go grab my sign. And I thought of like walking around the arena, and then I just like showed a couple people my sign, and they started like yelling. So I just held it up, and then all of a sudden I was walking back towards my seat, and then I just took the little detour and I walked by JBL real quick.
Now, at that time, the event, it was quieter. The main event was kind of quieted down. So when you got over there with the sign, everyone saw it, and people just started roaring. Like, and the first thing I saw was the WWE ring announcer and a couple of the security guys, like, all of a sudden start telling the TD Garden security to get over there, and then they came over there, and just everybody was freaking out. So clearly, you know, that usually they take a sign, like they'll take a sign and stuff. But for them to, like, kick you out, too? So explain that. Like, what did they say to you? Were you like, oh, you're just going to take my sign? Or they were like, you're out of here? Or, like, how did that happen?
I mean, right when they walked me out, I figured, like, they would reprimand me, whatever. I didn't expect to get thrown out. But right away, I handed the guy my sign, and he's like, yeah, I need your ticket and your ID, too. And I said, you're not getting my ID, but here's my ticket. And yeah, my ticket was a ringside ticket. There was no reason for them to get upset, whatever. But they're like, yeah, you need to get out of here right now. Like, he was talking on his microphone. I don't know who he was talking to. I didn't want to get in any, like, controversy. I'm in the military. I'm not trying to get in trouble with that bullshit. But I followed through with it.
Well, it's amazing. It's amazing that they took the sign away and they just left it at that. I don't understand why they kicked you out of the fucking building.
Well, because
I mean, you didn't even do it. You didn't even do anything. You just had a sign. You didn't say nothing to JBL, did you?
I mean, I was trying to get his attention. That's about it. But I didn't say anything like vulgar or whatever.
Well, I mean, wait a minute. So you're in the military right now?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So but I mean, here's the thing. I get why they take signs, because, you know, that like they're it's like they're taping their show. So if you were to advertise like something that you wanted to advertise, usually they take those signs a lot of times. If there's something they sort of deem offensive, obviously this is a real sensitive topic for them right now, so that's why I could see them like wanting to take it. If you sort of become a distraction, they'll take it. So I mean, I think the thing is, like, it met all the requirements. It was like, you know, you were walking up behind them. It was creating a distraction. It was, you know, JBL. It was a negative thing towards JBL, which right now they're like really sensitive to because of the whole accusation stuff, or whatever's going on with the JBL being bullied. So it's very easy to see why they would take this sign. It's not like you know, it's not like he had a sign that said, I hate Roman, and they took that sign, or like something like that. So it met all the requirements, though. Like, he was front on camera, all that shit. It literally met all the requirements. And all the guys who are watching in the production truck in the back, you know, they're looking for things like this. And I'm sure that before they went on the air, I guarantee you, they said, any JBL anything, get it out of there. Get that. And they went before the show to make sure, during the beginning of the show and before the show, that they looked around to make sure they didn't see any JBL signs. So when yours came out of nowhere at the end of the show, you know, they're also thinking that you know what you're doing too, bringing this at the end of the show. You decided to do it. So I think that's where they were at with that. But yeah, I am surprised you got completely kicked out. Why did they ask? Did they tell you why they asked you for your ID?
I mean, that might be like protocol. I don't know. These guys, like, I don't know what their job titles are, but obviously I'm not gonna give my freaking ID to these meatballs. So he actually handed me the sign back when I walked away, so it wasn't a big deal.
Well, that's weird. So now the person that wanted your ID, was that a TD Garden security or was that a WWE official?
Yeah, he's actually a TD Garden guy. I actually know him because I go to all the Celtics games. He's a cheese dick.
Yeah, you were telling me that you actually go to a ton of Celtics games and you know all the security, but some of the security changed. But more than that, it was the WWE initially. Did anybody else reach out to you as far as this goes, like from anywhere? Or?
I talked to a couple people that work there and stuff, and for them it's not a big deal. Like, they don't really care about if it's WWE or concert, whatever. Like, they're just there to get paid. So it was pretty much WWE. Like, the guys there, they're just there for their paycheck.
Right.
Well, what do you think of this entire situation and how it's been handled and what's been said about it, the speculation on Morrow's behalf and JBL's behalf? I know Joe and I have our opinions on it, but we'd like to get your opinion on the entire thing. What do you think of the entire story?
I mean, to be honest, like, people are like looking at me like I'm a advocate for like anti-bullying, which I'm not. And now that the sign like caught a little bit of like waves and stuff, it kind of makes me look like I'm a douchebag, because like I wish it said like JBL's a bully or something, you know. Instead, I was just...
No, I get what you said, though. It's funny. It's supposed to be funny. It's funny that it says JBL bullied me too. Like, it's like funny. It's not, you didn't actually think that. It's more of an attack and a sarcasm. It's not. I get it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
But at the same time, bullying is a serious thing. Like, we all know that shit. But wrestling is supposed to be a fun thing. That's exactly what I was getting at. Like, I just made the sign. It took me like 5 minutes to make it. Just, I thought I would show it like once and probably get it taken, or them telling me to put it away. I never like thought I would just raise it up and everybody would go crazy. So that's why I ended up walking over there and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you were more over than the match at that point. At that particular time, the crowd was quiet, and it was very loud. So I don't think it's anything personal to you or what you came up with, because I think I get what you did. It's kind of funny. But I think you just happened to meet all the negative requirements. Number one, the WWE bullying thing with JBL. That's a sensitive topic right now. Number two, you did it at the end of the show, and you walked over. Number three, you became a distraction to where the whole crowd was looking at you and not the match, you know, and so all that stuff, you know, all that stuff falls into criteria where they were probably pissed and they were like, get that thing out of there. No, I mean, back in the day, there was signs everywhere, just all over the place, like, you know, I'm inside China, you know, suck it, suck me, you know, WCW sucks, WWE sucks, you know, Stone Cold, hell yeah, like, just like, you know, I want to marry Trish, you know, not Trish, Sable, you know, all that stuff in the Attitude Era. There was so many signs everywhere that it's like, unless you wrote a complete swear like, fuck, like, I mean, you weren't going to get your shit taken, really. It was a different time. But now they have to deal with signs like that, but also the idea of people trying to get themselves over. Like, if I had brought a sign that said JoeCroninShow.com and kept holding it up, you know, they would take that from me. I mean, I wouldn't do that because I'm not going to do that to them, but I get it. So,
Joe,
would you do this again? Oh, I'm sorry, what were you going to say? I
just have a question. Like, looking back at it, like, say I know you were sitting, like, right behind JBL, whatever. So my seat, I was obviously ringside, but I was over a little bit. I did get out of my seat, and I was in the wrong. I stood up. I shouldn't have did that, whatever. I don't regret it, but, like, say you raised that sign that I had.
Yeah.
Do you think anything would happen? Like, do you think they would just take it, or do you think they would get rid of you also? I was just thinking about that.
You mean if I had done it?
Like, I don't know if the freaking production people know you, or I'm just saying like someone that was in their seat, like right behind JBL, put that sign up.
Oh yeah, they would have. They probably. If you had started doing it at the beginning of the show, they might have taken it from you. They might have said like, we're gonna take that from you. If you did it towards the end of the show, again, like if you'd waited to hold that up to the end of the show, they might have kicked you out. However, I don't know. I gotta be honest, I'm not sure. They might have kicked you out because they may be upset at this, like very upset at this. And what I can say is that anybody I've spoken to that I've tried to reach out to about this, even jokingly, saying like, hey man, JBL got a lot of heat last night, huh? And I've said this to many different WWE officials and WWE people that that have ever interacted with me, and every single one of them has not responded to that.
And the funny thing is, Joe, if you look at what's transpiring on Twitter, JBL is not mentioning anything about Morrow. Morrow is such a nice guy, and you can tell that based on what he does on Twitter. I mean, he fucking retweets everybody. I mean, if Morrow was the kind of person that we think he is, he would have said, you know what, he would have came out and explained the situation and kind of fanned the flames. He's letting things go, which kind of lends to the credibility that, you know what, maybe all the shit about JBL is true because nobody's saying anything about it.
Well, he's also cheering on anything negative. Morrow, when something happens, Morrow's been clapping about it and laughing at it, like, and saying, oh, that was good, or, someone brought up, Bart Gunn knocking out, or JBL or whatever, and then he was like, yeah, it's even funner to watch now, or something, or it's even better to watch now. And meanwhile, it's eclipsing what actually happened on Smackdown, which is they hit a 3 million mark in the ratings, and they did one of the highest ratings they've ever done on Smackdown on yesterday in Boston. So, and it's because I was there. Let's face it, everybody was tuning in to see Joe Cronin on television, and some people saw me, but a lot of people didn't. But you're welcome, WWE. You are welcome. So, Corey, with the sign stuff. Do you think they wanted your ID so they could make sure you never bought a ticket again or something like that? I mean, they're very weird.
I mean, I couldn't imagine that. I don't even know why they would ask for my ID. Like,
really weird. That I'm hung up on that. Like, what the hell was that about?
Yeah, like, I don't know. It's obviously like, if it was a cop, I would have obviously gave my ID. No confrontation whatsoever.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna give my ID to this fucking squid. I'm sorry.
Would you go? Are you gonna go back to another WWE event?
I mean, I'm not one of those boycott people. I'm like a fair weather fan of WWE. I watch it. I do this. I read a little bit about it, but every time it comes around, me and my friends, yeah, we'll be ringside every show, just for the hell of it. I'm not trying to get 5 minutes of fame, whatever. I just always show up. I'm there.
All right. Well, I got that. I mean, it seemed pretty real. JD, anything else you want to ask?
No, man. I'm just we're very appreciative for you to come on the show and explain your side of the story, because we were all stumped as to why you got kicked out. Yeah, I mean, it's just silly that they take a sign and then usher you out of the building. I mean, to me, that's nothing. But I mean, Joe's got a point, and he does make sense on it. So.
I wasn't stumped that you were kicked out. I will say that I was not stumped you were kicked out, because it was the end of the show, and it was taking away from the main event in their eyes. I get what you were doing, and it's funny and stuff, but in their eyes, they sort of take it like I guarantee there's a few people swearing in the back because they saw the sign. But I really thank you so much for coming on, and everyone was talking about the sign all over social media, so it was cool that we ended up finding you, dude. And anytime, come back, and maybe I'll see you in Boston again. I really was. I was 15 rows away from you. Did you see? Gronk wasn't still there? I think Gronk had taken off at that time.
Yeah, he took off. Hey, guys, it was a pleasure. Thank you guys for reaching out to me, and you guys gained a new fan. I'll be tuning into some of your shows, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks, dude.